This video is going to be about multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Basically what we're going to be doing is manipulating fractions, reducing and simplifying fractions, but we're just going to have exponents, variables, just things more complicated than just simple numbers. So take a look at this example. We see that each of the pieces here are all being combined by multiplication. Negative 27, x squared, y, on the bottom 9, x to the fourth, and y. There's no added subtraction, so we can just go ahead and start reducing things as we see ways that they reduce on top and bottom. Negative 27 and 9, well that just go ahead and divides, leaving us with 3. Our x's, we have an x squared on top and an x to the power 4 on bottom, so those go ahead and reduce. So we're going to take out 2 from here, leaving us with 2. And the y's, same thing on top and bottom, so there's no more y's. So we write our leftovers, and our final answer is negative 3 on top, and everything else is gone. And on bottom, the only thing left over is x squared. Since we've already covered polynomials, in order to try to reduce these, I don't just look at what is common right now. Yes, there is an x squared on top and bottom, but I can't cross these off. This is not correct. Really, these two things are they're like attached. The x squared on top is attached to the x by the minus sign, and on the bottom by the plus sign, 5x. Wherever and whatever happens to them happens to those things too, and I can't possibly cross off those. They're not the same at all. So instead, maybe we want to try to factor these. So on the numerator at the top, this factors out to x minus 4 and x plus 3. And on the bottom, we have x plus 3 and x plus 2. Now, since they're in parentheses, in between the parentheses is multiplication, now I can actually try to get rid of these things as I see if they match on top and bottom. I have an x plus 3 on top and an x plus 3 on bottom, so I can go ahead and reduce those. Now those two are gone, and let's write the leftovers. X minus 4 over x plus 2. Again, I can't cross out those x's in the front, and I can't do 4 divided by 2 because they're attached to the other piece with the minus sign and the plus sign. So this is as small as we can reduce this fraction. Okay, so in this, now we're actually starting to get to the multiplication. The way that we do this is we kind of want to break everything down, put it together as one big fraction, and start getting rid of things. So I'm not going to be able to cross off anything until after I've done the factoring. So first, let's try to do the factoring. So let's talk about the numerator on the first fraction. 2x, and x makes 2x squared. I have 3 and 1 will make my 3. And plus for both of those. And this will give me the right factorization. Now on the bottom I have x minus 4. And I'm going to put this in parentheses. Now, because it's multiplication, we can go ahead and multiply straight across, meaning we can put the numerators together, put the denominators together. So x squared minus 16, that's a difference of squares. So it's x plus 4 and x minus 4. And then for the other trinomial, I know that's going to factor out into an x plus 5 and an x plus 3. So it's kind of like one big fraction smashed together. Now I'm starting to look on top and bottom, notice of anything that is the same. I do. I have an x plus 3 here and here. I have an x minus 4 here and here. So what's left over is a 2x plus 1 on top with an x plus 4 all over an x plus 5. And typically we don't like to leave these as factors. We want to multiply them out to get our final answer. So this would be 2x squared plus 9x plus 4 all over the x plus 5. Let's take a look at one more example. So in this one, same thing. We're going to try to factor the top. Tops I see at an x squared minus 4. I know that's a difference of squares. So x plus 2 and x minus 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And then also I have the x plus 1 from the other fraction. Let's smash them over. X squared minus 1 is also another difference of squares. So this is x plus 1 and x minus 1. 1 times 1 is 1. And then in this, I see that it's not a difference of squares, but it is a GCF. So I'm going to pull out that x, and I'm left with an x plus 2. Now it's time to start looking to see what's the same. I have x plus 2 on top and bottom. I also have x plus 1 on top and bottom. And I think that's all I can cross off. So now I can rewrite. On the top I have an x minus 2. And on the bottom I have an x minus 1 times x. So final answer, x minus 2 over x squared minus x. Go ahead and distribute that x and you get your final answer. Okay, here I see that I have a division sign. How does that change? Well, if you remember when you're dividing normal fractions, you're supposed to flip the second one and turn the division sign into a multiplication sign. So I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to do whatever factoring I can along the way. So first off, let's look at that first trinomial up there. I think that's going to factor out into an x plus 5 and x minus 3. On the bottom, I have an x squared minus 16. That's a difference of squares again. And now it's time to turn this from division to multiply, and then you're going to want to flip these two. So now there's a x plus 1 is on bottom now, and I have 3x minus 12 on top, but I have a GCF there, so let's pull out the 3x minus 4. And really at this point, if you feel comfortable, you could actually go ahead and just combine this into one big fraction, just like we were doing in the last problems. So now I can go ahead and look and see what's the same on top and bottom. Minus 4, and that looks about it. So what I'm left with on the bottom and on the top is x plus 5, x minus 3, and a 3. And on the bottom I have a x plus 4 and x plus 1. I want to go ahead and multiply all that out. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 15 all times 3. And then on the bottom, I have an x squared plus 5x plus 4. And we do want to go ahead and multiply and distribute that 3. So my final answer is 3x squared plus 6x minus 45 all over x squared plus 5x plus 4. Okay, I hope that this covers your multiplying and your dividing by rational expressions. If you have any questions, leave a comment or email me, and I'll see you back in class.